In July, we played jazz. Hi, I'm Anna Hagen, a full-time performing professional harpist. And in the month of July, I made my whole program out of favorite jazz standards. Perfect for some of my senior citizen therapy settings, or for those romantic lovers who want a little jazz joy at their weddings. Summertime and the living is hot and sticky, and the perfect time for some hot, wonderful jazzy music. Have to play Gershwin's Summertime in the summer. And Gershwin, being a great American classical composer who wrote symphonies and operas, but used jazz themes, chords, and melodies, is a great place to cross over from a classical harpist. I built my own version of Summertime for the pedal harp, but Allie Robertson has really great sheet music that's playable on lever harp. I remember the very first jazzy song I ever learned to play, What a Wonderful World, and I still play off the lead sheet I learned when I was 15. I was raised as a classical musician, but I was playing at a therapy memory care, and one of the patients asked me if I could play What a Wonderful World. I'd never heard it. So I went home, found a lead sheet, and learned to play the melody by ear. And I remember being really scared because in the middle of the verse, there was a D flat chord. I was still playing lever harp at this point, and here's a little inside baseball. On a lever harp, it's really easy to get sharps, but to get a flat, you have to think way ahead and pre-tune them. But at the same time, I had a really good teacher who had made me memorize all of the different key signatures and explained to me how inharmonics work. In other words, D flat is the same thing as C sharp. And that meant I could just rework that chord in the middle of that piece of music with a C sharp and play a jazzy version of What a Wonderful World, even on a lever harp. I stayed up like the whole night before I went back to that facility, making sure I had that one lever change working. The nice thing about playing harp is nobody complains if you decide to practice after dark. I played the piece the next day, and I remember the smiles and the reaction, and I was hooked on this new wonderful world of jazz. But to get a good jazzy feel, you need a little bit more of a groove. So I've been adding some drum backing tracks to my performances, especially on songs like Nina Simone's Feeling Good. And if I don't have a backing track, I sometimes will use a drum machine. My current favorite app is called Pop Drummer by Loom Beats. They also have a jazzy version called Soft Drummer with a lot more brushes. Or I'll use a pedal drum machine like my Trio band creator. Never as good as the real thing, but much easier than trying to find a drummer who's available at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. I took a walk on the sunny side of the street and learned a new jazz standard on the sunny side of the street. To get all of those pedal changes in for that piece, I'm not walking, I'm running across my pedals. Sweet tune, but way harder than it looks. Jazz seems mostly made out of moonshine, so we got a lot of moon-themed standards. Sylvia Woods has a version of Fly Me to the Moon that I often use as almost a lead sheet. I have played the song for literally years before I realized I always play it in 4/4 and she has it written in 3/4. I only worry about myself occasionally. A great jazz book I've played for years, All-Time Jazz Favorites, arranged for pedal harp by Skaila, Kanga. I think that's how you say her name. This has a lot of great ones like Misty and Somewhere Over the Rainbow. This month I played her version of Moon River. Then I added in Blue Moon, a piano arrangement I pulled off the web. And yes, I did learn this because of the Fallout games. I learned jazz in 3 stages. The first, I just sort of copied or recreated written out arrangements of jazz music. I almost always did this because someone requested a specific song, like Stardust. Jim Palmer has great jazz arrangements for the harp. But a few years after I started, I got to go to the Jazz Festival in downtown Elkhart, Indiana, and really hear live things that had not lived the same way on CD. I was so hooked, I wanted to be able to do this. So I went and found some local amazing jazz musicians and tried to take a few lessons. They handed me pages and pages of chromatic runs, all the kinds of things you have to learn if you're playing jazz on a clarinet or trumpet or piano. I went home and literally cried. Not because they were bad teachers. Harp is really unique in its chromaticism. You have to really be creative and think in different shapes. And I I didn't know how to do that. And I realized if I wanted to learn to play jazz, I kind of needed to learn from other harpists. Fortunately, I love learning from books, so I got a whole bunch of books on it. The Berkeley Harp Method by Felice Pomerez, an icon in the genre. I got Marcella Carboni's Practical Method for Jazz. This has lots of diagrams of the music theory. And my friend Amanda Whiting has her own Introduction to Jazz for Classical Harpists. A really easy place to begin. You start playing music almost from page 1. This month I've been reading an old book on how to play jazz and improvise by someone who played the trumpet, by Jamie Abersold. And it's really been inspiring and a great reminder on how to improvise in minor pentatonic scales. Plus, there's also a lot of jazz music written just for harp that is a great way to begin the process of stepping into these very unique scales and chords. New Blues by Deborah Henson-Conant was my intro. Always popular with the audience and a great transition from Blue Moon. But the third step, the step that really pulled me into this genre, was actually finding jazz artists that I love to listen to. For all the classic instrumental music, I absolutely love some of the great jazz singers, Ella Fitzgerald, Peggy Lee, Nina Simone. So I got my favorite songs by them and listened over and over and just listened to the sounds I liked, really got a feel for the groove and rhythm. And that's the thing that made me really fall in love and recreate fun sounds that I like to listen to. This month I added Peggy Lee's version of Fever into my own arrangements. I've also done an arrangement of My Funny Valentine, which is available in sheet music form on my website. My wedding this month combined some of my favorite things. We had Harry Potter, we had Zelda, we had Disney. The bridesmaids walked into Beauty and the Beast, the groom walked into Across the Stars from Star Wars, and the bride walked into Passacaglia by Handel. As she put it, she loves all things minor key and dramatic. Then they had me play the Wii Sports Theme during the reception. Congratulations again to Ruben and Samantha. I loved playing for your wedding. So that's everything I played in the month of July. Are these any of your favorite standards, or what's your favorite jazz piece? Leave a comment down below and tune in next month to find out what we play in the month of August. Till next time, may all of your jazz be hot and your days be cool.